that's gonna make you faster. There's no better grease out there than some made from real Texas barbecue.
You gonna drink it?
If it makes me faster. Ew. Okay, where's my radio?
If you want your quad fly really fast, first, you have to throw your quad really hard. I'll show you right now. Did you see? That quad will go really fast.
So this is my mouse cursor, and this is where we should try to click. What's up, guys? Mic check. I hope we're good.
Yo.
This is FPV, spill the tea. Let us know how it sounds, like the microphone is good or not. And we have our regular speaker, Mr. Nice. Look at him.
Hey.
As always, we ask you to check his OnlyFans page. And today we have a special guest, a highly suspect to be Sock Puppet FPV. This is Mr. Sean.
Good to be here.
Mr. Shames, Heart of America team captain, race organizer, frame designer, father of Freedom Spec, and he also added like a new title recently to his life, right, Mr. Sean? What?
Yeah, OnlyFans star. Yeah,
OnlyFans star. So
we did like a link share, and I was able to get all of my, like a significant portion of my fans over to Sean.
All right.
With affiliate link. That's a new program we have.
Yeah.
So if y'all didn't know, OnlyFans has affiliate links. You can get your buddies hooked up. So if anybody else wants to get out there, I got my fan base on Sean, and yeah, we can get you hooked up.
Oh my gosh.
So you can see I have all Multigp today. It's because we're doing like a review of the pilot survey results from Multigp Champs. And this is why we actually have Mr. Sean today as a guest, right? So Mr. Sean became recently like a big, gigantic boss of Multigp.
Oh my gosh.
And like, so how do you feel wearing that? Like,
yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. You know, I didn't think about that much coming into this. You know, I thought we were going to primarily do fleet survey stuff, but no, the Multigp gig, like, I am super stoked about it. I'm nervous about it. I love this stuff so much. You know, like, I really care about drone racing, and that team at Multigp has done such an incredible job with Claire, you know, Chris, Mark, Roger, Doug, you know, all the people over there, Henry, the entire team has done such a good job this last year. I feel like there's a lot of pressure that if it starts, you know, if I do something to mess it up now, it's on me. It's super obvious. So I feel like there's some good momentum going in Multigp, and I just hope I can kind of continue to carry that forward. So
yeah,
that's it.
I think that's very exciting. I think like you're like perfect fit for this job. And so, because I guess like not everyone knows what's Multigp. Neil, like, can you like just elaborate what is Multigp like briefly and why we should support it?
Sure.
You know,
Multigp's grassroots racing organization around the world where chapters can start locally and race with each other, and then from there join larger sanctioned races around the globe, and then ultimately to a championship that gets put on somewhere in the world, and it races all over the globe. So I'd say that's Multigp in a nutshell, and it goes from a little group like local people running races in one sense, and then another group at the top putting on like marquee races as well. And so yeah, I think I'm happy to have Sean be a part of it. I've been just a pilot member, organizer in a local way for a lot of years in Multigp, and it's awesome to see it grow. Like Sean said, there has been a lot of momentum in the last year or so with Claire and the team, and just everybody. He named the whole team, and there's nobody that you know, I just couldn't name everybody there because a lot of behind the scenes action happens that a lot of pilots, or that just everybody doesn't see, you know. And so anyway, it's cool.
And I think what's really cool about Multigp is that basically it's a drone racing league for everyone. You don't have to be a pro. You don't have a special invite. You just join Multigp, and then it's just like, free registration on the website, right? And then you just find the local crew or just travel to races and, do global qualifier and all the fun stuff. Like, I think this is the only drone racing league like this in the world that's just, well, maybe not in the world, but I'm not sure about Asia or something, right? Like maybe they have some sort of MultiGP there. I don't know.
Well, they have, yeah.
Yeah, and even like, my list of people that help, pull this stuff off, like I'm missing about half of them at least. So I was just kind of rambling them off there. But yeah, no, MultiGP, there's pretty much a club near you no matter where you are in the world. If there's not, then let's talk about, getting you set up with a club. We're really wanting to push international this next year and get even more pilots from around the world on the global qualifier track. But, each weekend we've been tracking our numbers over these past few months, and each weekend there's, somewhere around 20 plus races going on around the world and 200 to 300 pilots racing at these races around the world. And I know that's something we're just super proud of, that that we're kind of a hub for getting people the opportunity to set up these clubs, connect with these clubs, and push the sport forward. So that's really the base of what we do. And then the championship, really probably the most complete world championship talent wise that exists right now is the MultiGP championship. And that fuels a lot of meaningful races, right? Like if it wasn't for that championship, it would be hard to know who the best in the world were. And you see that kind of reciprocated in some of the pro leagues and that kind of thing. A lot of those pilots have come from MultiGP, and that's for a reason. So it's pretty cool. It's a big responsibility. I'm talking about it. It's making me nervous. I don't want to mess it up.
Yeah.
So we got Mr. Quad Dog. Thanks for $99.99 super chat. Well, that's
Kevin, you're
always
awesome.
support. And we have Mr. Alex saying, I'm not gonna read what he's saying, but you can read it.
No, yeah, that the guy on the left looks like he would paint you during a live stream because you do very much look like a taller version of one of our favorite Hobby Wing execs. Or we love Charlie so much. But Bits is in there now, killing the game alongside Charlie. So it's great to see the Hobby Wing guys.
So today we're reviewing. So Mr. Sean did like a big survey through the pilots who attended MultiGP Championship like a few months ago. And we have about 90 pilots took part in this survey about their fleet, about what they're using, about how much money they lost, about who they were sponsored with, what was their sponsorship, and, all kind of like what software did they run, all of this stuff. So you can see it's like all their answers. I made it anonymous, so you don't see the pilot names, although some of the pilot names you can guess. And then I made a bunch of plots, and we're gonna go through all these plots and do some smart comments. And today, Mr. Neil is responsible for smart comments.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Mr. Sean is Mr. Sean is responsible for funny comments, and Neil is smart comments. All right. Yeah.
Well,
fair enough.
All right.
Yeah. So we're gonna start from not so exciting, but also kind of cool to see. I forgot to switch to my monitor. And we're gonna see champs count. So here you see on the plot how many champs before, including this year, people took part. Like, all right, Sean, can you explain what I see? Because I'm kind of twisted. So you can see. So like
how many years have you attended champs?
That's thank you. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So one on the left would be this was your first year at champs.
Yeah.
Obviously, the second year at champs, and it looks like we have one person that has attended 8 years.
Yeah, and this is the only champs. Yeah, and this is the only time we're gonna like disclose who is that, and that was Mr. King. That was Mr. King.
Oh, Lonnie.
Wow.
Yeah, who attended all champs, and just one person. And you can see actually we had like 18 new pilots coming to champs. That's kind of cool. Yeah, that's including pro.
Cool.
Yeah. This is awesome, and you can see, of course, it goes down.
But I think there's been more than 8. So let's see. My first year was 17. So 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23. No, my first was 18.
Yeah.
Which was actually in 2019. So it's a little confusing. So I've attended 6. 7 was Reno. So that was anyone that did 7 was at the Reno year.
Yeah.
What was your first year, guys? When did you go?
My first year to go to Champs was the one that was in Vegas.
Same.
For me, the
Okay.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, the same.
Okay.
It was like the
So we're in
times.
a,
It was the times when Flight One was still a thing, and I remember because
Yeah.
I remember I met there Preston. I even have a selfie with Preston.
I remember you made so much fun of me too because I had that
Yeah.
Flight One hoodie and it was like everyone was wearing
Yeah.
them. It was a cool thing to have and I was proud to have it, but you like to make fun of me for it, so that was
Yeah.
always fun.
So
and
here
that was crazy.
yeah,
That
go
was
ahead.
sorry, I'm off subject, but that year was actually in 2019, right? So that
That's right.
race actually took place in like February of 2019 for the 2020 or for the 2018 champs, but
Yeah,
it doesn't
and
really matter. But
that was like a odd. I had attempted to go to 2 Champs prior to that, but did not qualify for them. It was a lot harder to go to Champs then. I feel like
Yeah.
in the regional series.
Mhm.
Anyway, this is a cool, interesting.
So
Oh, yeah.
what we see here is which track was your favorite MultiGP Champs track, and this is not. I don't know. I think just pilots who just visited Champs, they like the track that they just flown, right? And
Okay.
I think this one could be controversial on this call, right? I mean,
Yeah, sure. This is.
Yeah.
I
You
didn't
might
know this
feel-
was a thing.
Because Mr. Neil designed some of the. Do you remember which years did you design the tracks for?
I designed the Champs track in 2021. Is that right? Yeah,
so-
two Champs tracks ago. So that would have been 2021.
So 14%.
Which that's the yellow
pe-
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the yellow one.
14% still love your track, but they kind of start forgetting about it.
Yeah, I just want to say I would hope to think it has to do with memory, not actual track. But
Yeah,
who knows? You know,
it's-
I'm
it's-
certainly
yeah.
biased. I'm certainly
Well, I
biased.
think like being at the event this year, it did seem like the track was well executed.
yes.
It was a good track, right? So it's hard to think back in that year. I remember your track, that was the one that had like the dive that you dove to the right on right at the end of it.
Yes.
And that's when people were having a lot of battery issues too.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
yeah, I don't know if that could be related to it or whatever. But
Oh
this year it
no.
really seemed
Yeah.
like- but
yeah.
anyway.
By the way, guys,
And also, I just
um,
think it's a
My
distance
truck
of
also
time
didn't
thing.
have LEDs.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
big deal.
They really,
Yeah.
But I'll just say that this track was really good. This was a SFPV track. I think he did a really good job. It was really well executed. He didn't break any rules. It was really good
yeah.
for sure.
But so let me reply. So Double A asking about what about IO. So unfortunately, we didn't do like IO survey. But I also think that the Champs is more interesting because the Champs IO is like a lot of fun. Of course, Champs is also a lot of fun, but it's way more racing focused. So pilots who go to Champs, they're like racing. They're a lot more about racing than at IO. So I think the survey from here is, at least for me, more interesting. So, but sorry, yeah, we don't have the
Yeah, I'm
details
trying
for
to think.
IO.
Is this the third or fourth year we've done this, or that I've done a Champs fleet survey? So the idea of doing this fleet survey was well before I worked for MultiGP. It was really born out of a couple things. One was my curiosity of what were the top pilots using, and not only that, but like what did they trust enough to actually take the Champs, to compete with. So I wanted to know that.
Ooh.
And then to be completely honest as well, a part of it was, Mondo and Evan, I have just incredible respect for them, and seeing like how their market share had exploded. And we wanted to keep Freedom Spec in an area that we were, when the spec was more hardware based, I wanted to make sure that the spec was looking at the products that people were already utilizing. Right. And so, it was kind of born out of those two things, is like identifying what the most common gear was, just because that's probably what you should be buying, or maybe at least giving you an idea. And then also, from the perspective of Freedom Spec, do we need to shift so that the spec better fit the actual machines people, had at their disposal? So I think this is the third or fourth year that we've done the little fleet survey for Champs.
Yeah.
But an IO one would be cool. I just
Yeah.
maybe someone else. could
Cool.
head
All
that
right.
route.
So let's move on. Let's see. We got
Yeah.
any questions. So I agree with Mr. Kimbo that IO is bigger than Champs. Like if you have to go to one event, that's gotta be IO. But if you can
Yes,
visit two
absolutely.
events, then of course it's IO and Champs. Yeah. So
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on. So the next thing is rates. So I picked up like the maximum, because obviously people running like separate rates for roll, pitch, and yaw. But I just picked like the maximum rate, and that was also interesting to see. Apparently, a lot of pilots were running like 800 rates, at least for one axis, and this is kind of interesting. So the
Well, how do
mode.
I?
Yes,
Go ahead, but
yeah, that's just how you read the plot. So you see, for example, around like 420-ish
Yep.
max rate, we have only 2 pilots, right? So only 2
Okay.
pilots flying really slow rates. Then a little
Yep.
bit faster rates from 464 to 528. We got already 13 pilots. Kind of
Yep.
the average is around 533, which is not very surprising. So the average around 533. And then we got 12 pilots running faster rates, and we got 8 pilots running even faster rates, but then we got 2 pilots running very fast rates.
Yeah.
And that's kind of cool to see. But if you look only at top 16, and this is plot on the right, let me scroll like this. This is not very nice plot, but you can see like all the top 16, they're all running faster rates than 533.
Oh,
and,
wow.
So all of them, basically like 600 is like minimum, like. So I think,
and then one of is that both of the people at 800,
Yeah.
3 of the people between
Yeah.
760.
yeah,
Wow.
Wow.
that was cool.
Fast boys,
And
fast
so
rates.
and so here you can compare. Let me make it smaller so our cameras are not
Yeah,
closing.
double A really. I'm saying really too.
Yeah.
Like
They
I
are
have
saying
slow
that there's
boy
an
rates.
echo in one of the scenes.
Huh.
So you might look at your audio settings for
Oh, hold
not
on, maybe.
all the scenes. I don't know which one, but
All right, I'll try
Yeah.
to. I'll make you less loud, and my microphone should be good now. Yeah,
Is that?
well, I think it was from one of the scenes. Maybe maybe one of the settings is different in the.
I think
OBS
it's
for
the
one of
same. It's like
scenes.
because when you speak, then you speak through my headset, and then my headset is very close to microphone, and that's
Okay.
how is it
Kimbo
sound now? Is it
says
good?
There's an echo.
Oh, there is an
Shane.
echo on Shames. Yeah. Yep. On me.
Huh.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
VFW, some it looks like a couple of fast boys are run. I'm just gonna talk with the chat while
Yeah,
you
yeah.
tech support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it looked like of the top 16, was it 11 that responded? Is that what we had?
No, it's 15.
Oh, that's interesting.
We got 15.
Oh, 15
of
of
the
the
top
16
out of
Okay.
16. Yeah, and so
Well,
here's
who's missing? Let's call them out right now and shame
Yeah,
them
who was
publicly.
missing out of the top 16?
Yeah, I tagged everyone, but yeah, I don't know who is missing, but I'd love to call
shame
him
on
out.
you, whoever you are. You're probably
Yeah.
not watching, but
We're so
Yeah.
close.
But that was cool to see like 15 pilots out of top 16 voted. Like that's cool.
yeah.
And so here you see the rates between pro and sport, and like that's also kind of interesting to see that the pro running faster rates on average. Like I don't know.
I wonder if it's because it's actually better or but if okay, I'll finish my thought from this. I wonder if it's actually better or if like because Min-Chan runs higher rates, does then everybody else run higher rates because that's what Min-Chan does. Similarly to like you had a spike at 533 because a lot of people use that because that's what Evan does. Or is it like actually better, or are they just doing something that somebody else does and then okay, well I'm going to do that too. It's hard to say because they did make it to the top 16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, we should point out too that one of the racers I've known that has flown over 600-degree rates for the longest amount of time is our buddy Yvonne, right? Because you've ran beta flight default rates.
Yeah, just
That's
default
true.
rates
And
like
they're
670.
606 or 670.
670 for all access, just like that. I don't know.
So you're that's what actually happened is they all saw that Yvonne runs 670 rates, and they're like,
maybe
but I spiked around Yvonne.
I don't know. I noticed the tendency because like 3 years ago, a lot of pilots were running slow rates. Maybe do you remember, right, Neil? Like
like me, I'm
degrees.
just still on the 3-year-old rates. Yeah,
yeah. And but
I just
now
don't-
I
is that
kind of
5?
see
Do you run 533 or what do you run?
me.
He's
No,
running
I
slower.
run like my own. You can check them out. They're a beta flight
500?
preset.
Oh yeah,
no,
nice.
it's like it's 469 on roll and yaw and 420 on. Roll and pitch and 420 on yaw.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
I recently switched to where I'm running 600, 400, 200. So 600 on roll. No. Yeah, 600 on roll, 400 on pitch, and 200 on yaw. I just like the way that math worked out.
Willpower
Okay.
Willpower says that he's running 859. So well, apparently these are like fast boys rates. So
Yeah, apparently.
you're on the right track.
There
probably.
we go.
We don't know yet. All right, so let's move on to the frames because we get a lot of plots actually. So like not all of them are interesting, but
this is a marathon stream. We're raising money for
Yeah.
Ronald McDonald House or something.
Yeah.
So what coming in future, right? We're gonna be checking, of course, all the frames and stuff. Then we're gonna be checking how much stuff pilots broke on average and all this stuff. Pro versus sport. We're gonna check who is sponsored with what percentage he was sponsored, like pro versus sport and versus top 16. So I think that's gonna be there's some of these plots are cool, but some of them are boring, and then Neil needs to make them more fun. Right, so this is
That's
Neil.
what I'm here for. Yeah.
All right, so going next, then we're gonna be looking at the frames.
Ooh.
So here we see all the pilots' votes, and 533 is 43% of the market share. Probably even more because the Open Racer apparently also comes from 533 now, but some of the Open Racers they come not from 533, so we don't know yet that for sure. So yeah, 533, and then in top 16 it remains around 40%, but then top 16 actually going hard on FPV supply CO. Like what is that, Sean? Can you please tell me what is that frame? Like anyone knows?
Oh, that's what's it called? Is that the Kronos?
Minchin frame, right?
Hyper's frame.
Oh, Hyper frame. Yeah,
Minchin. I don't know the difference.
Who is running FPV supply?
Propsicle and Soren, right?
Oh, I
Yes.
see.
Is that? I mean, I don't actually know.
Yeah.
That's my understanding, but
So yeah, apparently a bunch of guys. So kind of like 533 loses a little bit at top 16, but they still got it, right? And on the right, I mean,
for both 533 and FPV Supply Company, if you don't realize this, I'm pretty sure that no one in that graph is paying for their frames. So
well, we're gonna check. We're gonna check at that later too, like how the frames will be going. But so on the right side, you kind of can see I need to move shames around, moving shames. So on the right side, you see the same plots from 2022, and you can see 533 was over 50%. So they're losing a little bit of market. I don't know. It's like, or it's just within the tolerance. We don't know.
Well,
right?
it's 10%. I mean, like, it's easy math. 10%. It's not the actual difference, but
Open Racer is growing. You see, we had 2 people.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
I'm proud of
and
that.
now we have 7 people, and also
7 people, and neither you and I were there, right?
Yeah.
So that's like 7 people without you and me there. The 2 people the year before was you and me.
Yeah,
like, So
look at you guys, trend starters.
Yeah.
Man.
So how cool is that?
And actually, Mr. Lani, who attended 7 champs, he's running Open Racer.
Yeah,
So,
well, that's a smart man. I mean, you look at the guy that's been in the most champs and he's running an Open Racer, that'll say something.
Longevity.
Yeah, exactly.
And so here we see the frames, pro versus sport, and it's about even. So that's, I don't know, maybe you guys can see something interesting here, or we move on.
Pro versus
I mean,
sport.
FPV Supply Company definitely more prevalent amongst the pro pilots.
Yeah,
that might be maybe just the length of time that it's been out. Would be
you're right. Yeah, so FPV Supply CO is just 5% in sport, and
only 2 people in sport were running it.
2 people in sport. Dindron's still holding strong. Yeah, speed source. Cool. All right, so let's move on. We're moving to the motors. So about the sponsorship stuff, I think it's coming later. Yeah, I didn't add it here. Let's see. So we're moving to the motors. And this is motor brand across all the pilots. And 533, 46%, about the same as
similar. Yeah. It's a little more. But it's just like, but I would imagine that like there are people like or me, but I think you the same that don't run a 523 frame but use 523 motors. I would imagine that maybe there are people who use a 523 frame and don't use 523 motors, but I would imagine
weird.
that
if you're one of these guys, comment that you're weird. Like
Then
running
we'll know.
533.
Tell us why you're weird.
Yes,
Yeah.
like why you're running 533 frame, but not running 533 motors. That'd be weird. So motor size, obviously, we got 2207 is like 78% running 2207 motors, and this is 2207.5, like something that. And also we have the weird size 22.6 by 7.22. Actually, like
What motor
That's
is
the new
that?
hyper motor. Yeah, that's the
yeah,
hyper
these are
motor,
like
I believe.
because I saw I
Okay.
don't remember who was that, but like
Very
two fast guys
precise,
were running
fancy.
these motors. So yeah, hyper probably because like I can feel the difference, and he also feels the camera position difference.
Oh, he can absolutely feel the difference.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's a great motor.
yeah.
They
Yeah.
did some things to cut some weight and make it light. And
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
So
yeah,
here we
that's the motor
got
size.
motor KV. Let me move it to here. Yeah, we got motor KV, and like about 50% is over 2000 KV from 2000
Wow.
to 2000. Like it's like a lot of people running.
That's surprising.
Yeah,
It is surprising to me too.
and then yeah, like I don't know, like I don't need more KV. I just need more stick time to like.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't ever
It's-
feel like my quad is slow, but
I think like the first time that, and I had been running the 1960 headset motor, the original,
yeah,
and it's hard because we all fly on the club level at a traditional club track with 5-foot gates, and on those tracks like 1960 never once felt slow, but at IO I remember thinking like, oh crap, my quad feels slow on those big tracks with big champ size gates. I think is where it comes in and makes a difference.
that's
But
true. It's definitely a different track. I mean,
yeah.
I sometimes feel at quite a disadvantage that we never practice on those tracks because we get to those events and it's a totally different flying style.
Right.
Because you're just full sticking through every gate, and you just I don't have the confidence to do that in 5-foot gates to just hold it full stick. But
Right.
those gates are so big that you can, and then that means you have to.
Yeah.
And like that's a whole different thing. Like, yeah.
So we
that's
still
an interesting aspect.
we still
is,
have some
the
crazy echo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, some.
The
Where do
Well,
we
but I think
have it
we're
from?
about to make some interesting conversation. So like,
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
All right, keep going, and I'll try to troubleshoot echo.
Well, so the gate thing is I think we all prefer champ size gates.
yes,
Right? Like they're better, but they're also like exponentially more expensive and a bigger hassle for a chapter organizer to manage, right? So
Yeah.
there's been talks of like should the GQ be champ size gates, and that sounds really good, but it's like now they got to be EMT realistically, and now like you can't. There's no way you could like put a whole track in your car. Now you kind of need
Yeah.
a truck or a trailer and somewhere to store, because the top bar on a champ size gate's 10 feet long. So like
yes,
you can't get that everywhere, right? And so it just makes it quite a bit harder. And then it's like, should we not race champ size gates at multi-GP corporate events? Well, that's not the answer, right? I think the champ size gates are great. So it's almost just like an aspect of drone racing that's going to live and exist in some of the bigger clubs that have the infrastructure. I know Dallas is one, right? They've got a
Yes.
nice container and they have champ size gates. So like, I think the clubs that should offer that. And it's a good reason for us to travel out to some of these maybe higher tier clubs that have the infrastructure and the ability to do that to practice on those kinds of tracks. I know this last winter, me and Callie were actually going to do a trip to, or not winter, but right before champs, we were going to do a trip to Dallas to practice champs gates. And we didn't end up making it, but that was the intent, is like, it is such a different style of flying. So anyway,
All
how's
right.
the echo?
Sorry, guys.
You found it?
That was my rookie mistake. So I was,
Shit streaming?
basically like double streaming as we switch to spreadsheets. Yeah, that's definitely shit streaming.
Nice.
Yeah, sorry about
Way to
that.
get to the bottom of it.
it's all good. I like
Yeah.
it.
There's some serious troubleshooting. Yeah. All right. By
Good
the way,
job.
guys,
Live.
if you guys
Wow.
notice Sean's eye is doing something weird, it's because he's using Are you switched it off?
Oh, I turned it off. Yeah, I turned it off.
You gotta turn it
that's
on.
funny.
I could turn it back on.
Yeah, because
So now Sean is looking into your soul. no matter where. Well, now not anymore. It's like eye tracking or whatever.
It's this eye contact plug-in. Yeah, sorry, I'll turn it back off. It's too much.
It's fun though, yeah. So and this is the plot from 2022, like from the history, and we had the 533 at 56%, whereas now it's 46%. So 533.
So it's interesting to see it go down. Sorry to cut you off, but where's the market share going? I think that's the interesting thing to see. Did it get spread over everybody, or like do we see a big jump? I guess T-Motor there is a big jump.
Big jump. Yeah, RCN Power a little bit jump. Vancouver went smaller a little bit. Yeah, we got Emax. Emax is about the same. Yeah, I guess it's just T-Motor slowly eating.
And then that'll be interesting to look at when we see the sponsorship piece. Yeah. Is there like, and how many T-Motor pilots are there, and are all of those sponsored pilots? It's just interesting to like understand how the market's changing and maybe why it's changing. And I'm not really sure, honestly, to think about like, this is a very small chunk of the pie to say the market's changing, that we're looking at pilots that showed up to champs is not exactly a full market indicator.
Yeah, of course. But it's like the indicator. It's like, of course, not market indicator, just the pilots who are serious about racing and going to champs, like serious enough. Like, I think it's like a cool slice of our drone racing society. It's like, you know, what they're actually using.
Yeah. Just trying to put some.
All right, so we're moving on. We're moving on to the stacks. What kind of stacks people are using?
Ooh.
So, and apparently this year Foxeer lost to Hobbywing. At least it's losing slowly, because you can see Hobbywing taking over Foxeer. So Hobbywing 30% of ESCs and Foxeer 23% of ESCs. But it's funny, then there is more Foxeer flight controllers than Hobbywing flight controllers. Yeah, like, so pilots buying Hobbywing ESCs and Foxeer flight controllers. Like that.
Now, is Hobbywing's flight controller has a slightly different gyro? Is that right?
I don't.
In the PU 6000.
Like the gyro been crazy like lately. There's all over the place. Like Foxeer has a bunch of flight controllers with all kind of different gyros, and I bet Hobbywing the same. Yeah.
So it's hard to know, but the one thing about the Hobbywing FC is that it's plug and play with the V3 HD0 VTX.
That's
right.
So, but it's interesting to me though that the Foxeer still has that high of a market share. I mean, they're both phenomenal products. I personally use both kind of interchangeably, but it was the fact that the Hobbywing has the direct plug for the HD0 was a game changer for me. So anyway,
and we can see also like
people are experiencing that.
A few people using T-Motor ESC, only 9%, but more people using T-Motor flight controller, like 16%.
It also has the plug. I would imagine like it also has the plug. So I know that the Hobbywing plug is a DJI plug, and I know that the T-Motor is also DJI plug.
Yeah.
So are you just everybody's using that DJI plug? Or the plug that's built for DJI for the Hobbywing.
Well, but DJ, that's my understanding is there's 2 or 3 different DJI plugs too.
Oh, that's true. I mean, sorry,
you isn't good. Yeah, so it's like V3, isn't it?
Well, whichever one. Like I have to rebuild. There's a plug there that you
check
can
the
use.
pins. Don't go.
Yeah, and you have to rebuild. You have to rebuild it.
So here we're looking at that most of people running F7 flight controllers, and very few people running F2 and H7. And only one person had no idea. It's like that. Like if I came to champs this year, it would be 2 people, because I also have no idea. And this is the plot for what kind of gyros they're using. Like this is also kind of wild to see, is like, because I would be having no idea, but we have only like 10% no idea. And
I would imagine though, it's like if you really have no idea, but I feel like you're in the know, right? So like you're in the, like, I didn't know that these different flight controllers all have different gyros. And I mean, I know that, right? I understand that some have MPU 6000 and some they've used different ones, but like I wasn't aware that there's like this flight controller that it's shipped with a bunch of different gyros in it. And I
Yeah.
would imagine that a lot of people are just assuming that, oh yeah, then I got an MPU 6000
Yeah,
or whatever.
like I know I have all kind of gyros on my, and I don't feel any difference between them. So one quad has BMI, the other quad has MPU, and probably ICM too. Like I have no idea. Anyway,
DFW asked a question, kind of circle back a little bit about the plugs, and is it really a big deal when repinning is easy? It affects my purchasing decision for sure if I don't have to repin. Like, and then additionally, like the next step would be if plug or not, or like, do I have to cut a plug off and direct solder it? Like that could, mess with you too. I'd rather repin than that maybe, but I definitely want the pin out to be the same. I don't, when you're building 6 quads, like it absolutely matters. And so I just really appreciate it. It sounded like, I believe Ryan, the HT0 kind of rep, mentioned that when Carl was doing the V3 VTX for HT0, they specifically made sure it was plug and play with the Hobbywing FC. And to me, that was brilliant. That was a big part of like why I was willing to jump over to HT0 beyond just performance. But it is a big deal. And like when I go to a race, I don't put anything in the box that needs to be repinned either. Like if it's like in my spares box, like it's ready to plug in and go, because I don't want to be working on half of a folding table to repin, a connector.
Yeah, and Mr. Strong fixes a lot. Like you can.
I have to fix 2 people's worth of drones.
Yeah. But Mr. Neil likes repinning, right? Like that's your favorite thing to do. You just.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes you just mess up your pin and on purpose and just repin in the evening by yourself.
I just get bored and I just put like a whole fresh harness on there just because I feel like it may need it.
All right, so now we're gonna be moving to a little bit more interesting part. Where's my monitor? Right here. And this is how much money people lost.
Okay.
Because the people
in broken parts.
In broken parts, yeah. Just how many broken parts. And that is kind of interesting. So the total loss approximately, because people voted, there was like a choice between 0 and 100. Then there was a choice between 100 and 200. So this is approximate, not exact number, right? But you can see 15,000 lost.
Right.
And on average, a person lost $175 of broken parts. That's like a stack and broken parts. It's like a stack and a couple of motors.
3 motors.
Yeah, something like
this.
And
I think that like this figure in general too, like obviously we didn't have someone following everyone around with the calculator, right?
Yeah.
So like these numbers are like a person's impression of what they broke really.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I think there's some bias in there of like, did I have did I break a lot of stuff or not a lot of stuff? Like I felt like it was normal. I clicked the middle one, like, like this is not super scientific, but I do like seeing that number 15,000. That
for 90 pilots.
That's an interesting thing to total up,
So we got 34 people voted that they lost under $100, and we got 4 poor souls that voted that they lost more than $500.
More than 500. More than 500 is like you completely burned down 2 quads.
Yeah.
I feel like that's how you get past 200, like 500.
Yeah.
That's
because if the quad catches on fire, you still have motors typically.
Yeah, or like maybe well, still 500. Maybe you're like super fast boy and you illegally charge your batteries and use them once. And then you could get over 500. I don't know, but that's
So here we got
that's a rough weekend.
Broken parts of Pro class versus Sport class. Let me make it smaller a little bit.
Man, I just had the thought though that how wildly cheap is drone racing compared to any other type of like racing or motorsport ever.
Yeah,
so true.
Because we're talking about the people that click the box for the most is like less than 1 part for any other type of racing. Like
you go to like just really RC car racing, and that's like like $500 chassis or whatever they call it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So. Man.
So, but here we can see that Pro broke more parts, right? So, because like in Sport class, less than 100, it's like 60% less than 100. but Pro less than 100, only 22%.
Okay,
So,
and then where did our big losers come from? We
The
had
big
over
losers come
500
from-
on both
yeah.
sides.
No, there's no over 500 in sport at all.
Oh, okay. The green
Good.
is 400 to 500.
Yeah. So yeah.
And I wonder too if that number in Pro considers the fact that some of their parts are free or discounted as well. So
Yeah, that's true.
You know, so if a generically sponsored pilot in Pro like has to spend $500 to fix a quad, that's typically $1,000 worth of product, right?
Yeah.
Or some sort of discount in there, but yeah, interesting.
And
Yeah,
here we
interesting
see just top 16. Well, 2 pilots from top 16 broke more than 500.
I wonder, did Minchan count? Like, I don't know if Minchan is a quad spiker or not, but like, I always wonder if like when the winner spikes their quad, would they put that down there?
That'd be a big move to count that too. Like,
yeah, or like, yeah, I don't know. It's like I'm so perplexed as to how do you, do you throw your goggles down in disgust, and then you definitely can lose $500.
Drone racing is so expensive. I break my goggles every time. Throwing it. All right, so now
there's more latency. There's more latency on old goggles, so you need new goggles every time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's like a fresh patch. You need the new goggles feel.
So here we got the software, which is no surprise. Like this year, we don't have. I think last year it was one person still running Flight 1. And this year is just all beta flight, and we can see that 34% running CAC.
Hell yeah!
And
whoop, whoop.
So I was wondering, so like, if someone not running CAC, let me switch my screen. So, if someone not running CAC, like, why is that? Like, what's the like deal of like they don't watch my videos? Then I should be upset, or like?
So I have heard people say that I guess like. No, only when it's on. Like I've heard people say like if they try to use the RPM limiter instead of a throttle cap, that they don't like the way the quad launches. But that really doesn't have to do if you install CAC but you don't enable the RPM limiter.
Yeah, like you can disable RPM limiter and then it's just normal beta flight with whatever.
With better OSD.
Yeah. So
EDOC says he was getting flyaways on CAC and he needed 443.
Yeah.
So it could be someone needs 443 versus 444.
Well, like not like it's actually been a while since because when you flash CAC it says 442 CAC, but actually it's 443 because I update this as like when there is a release of 4.3, then I just update that branch, and even though it configurator still says it's 442, but it's already 443, and sometimes it even goes like faster than official releases because I see, all right, there's a nice fix, I should pull it in. So
what's the status of that now that there's 4.5 release candidate out? Like at what point will you take the CAC into release candidate mode, or like is there a way to let someone do a version of CAC, like if they want to stay on 4.3 or 4.4 rather, and not go to 4.5, would there be a mechanism for them to be able to install one or the other versions of CAC?
There is already now a way to install 4.5 CAC, but then you need to put like a pull request ID. Later they will add. I talked to like a main developer, and they will add in a drop down, so it will be 4.5 CAC. Ooh. And hopefully they will leave 4.42 CAC, so it will still be good. But honestly, I think I probably will be making video about beta flight. But most of the CAC now is in the official beta flight, except funny OSD. Like funny OSD, I don't feel like it should go in. Like nobody wants to see Sorry Brian in the official beta flight. So
or like, but is the editable OSD in there?
Yeah, maybe we'll make edible OSD edible.
Edible?
Yeah, edible. Yeah. So tasty.
Neil likes edible OSD.
Yeah, I just got excited. Someone said edible.
Edible.
But
so tasty, so trippy.
Yeah, so there will be a if you flash, even now, if you flash 4.5 in the you can like put a race_pro all in capital letters, and it will include all kind of stuff from CAC, RPM limiter, or quick OSD, spec screen. It will even like change some defaults that racers usually change, like it set your like small angle to 180 right away, so that you don't have to worry about that. And a couple more defaults, so it's there already.
Oh, nice. Fun.
But I think you should leave editable OSD in CAC so that it's like some exclusive that still drives people to the special version. Just because,
that's true.
Yeah, I like that a little bit.
Hey, Mr. DFW FPV, thank you very much for $10 super chat, and Merry Christmas to you too. Yeah,
and Happy New Year. We're here.
In case
hope everyone had a Merry Christmas and all the holidays.
So in case
sure
someone just joined, we're reviewing Multigp Pilot survey. There was about 90 pilots that took part in this survey. We're reviewing all the data, how much money they lost while they're doing champs in broken parts, and what kind of gear they were using. So that's been fun. So this is fun. You see my monitor? Yeah, you can. So here you can see how many people were running HD0.
Get ready, Joe.
And this is, I think camera is not that important. Just some people, when you run HD0 camera, it's actually RunCam camera, and some people put HD0, some people put RunCam. Oh no, I actually fixed that. Yeah, I actually fixed that. So everyone who put RunCam while running HD0 VTX, I fixed that it's HD0 VTX. So there we go. We got 63% running HD0.
63%. And how does that compare to the year before? I think that's just interesting if we have that data.
Let's see. Camera aspect ratio, camera angle. I think I didn't check. Count. Right here. Oh no, that's camera angle. Why did I put here?
Yeah, because we're really interested to see how camera angle.
I think I checked the plots, but that wasn't so impressive. Like very few people running HD0 last year.
Yeah, then that makes it impressive to understand what the change is.
Yeah, well,
that's okay. So 63%. And do we have that breakdown between pro and sport class?
Yeah, we see. Well? So it's even more in pro class. 70% running HD0 in pro class.
Wow.
And 50% running HD0 in sport class. And we're gonna cover it later because I was like, I love HD0, but I also don't. Because I don't want to build in quads with HD0, but I should. So I was like, probably they're all sponsored. So we will see later, if they're really all sponsored or not, and how the situation changes when we remove all sponsored pilots.
Yeah.
Unless
also if you just remove pilots that don't want to be faster.
Yeah.
Also see how
yeah, that's like I've been resisting for a long time. Still waiting on Carl to send me my goggles.
Yeah.
I'm sure that I'm going to get a shipping notice at any moment from Carl that my
So why do you think Carl should send you goggles? Let's do it.
Well, because then I'll be able to say, hey, look at these goggles that Carl sent me instead of we're still waiting on Carl to send me my goggles.
Yes.
How many T-shirts have you shipped to Carl?
How many T-shirts? Well, Carl hadn't asked me for a T-shirt yet.
Well, I mean,
hey, that's
we
can trade. I guess technically, I haven't also asked Carl for goggles. I'm just still putting it out in the universe.
Yeah.
I wonder what would happen if Carl got a shit pilot T-shirt once a week for a month.
Oh yeah,
that might be a pretty good investment on your part. I don't know.
Hey, I mean, I think that's a good idea. It'd be worth trying, anyways. I'd love to see Carl running around and.
Mr. Edog says
he loves Shit Pilot, by the way. He was telling me about it at IO.
Yeah.
So I think he'd be down with it.
Mr. Edog says that HD0 was his favorite upgrade to my race quads this year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Man, and we got
hate
Sam
to hear
in the
that
house?
Because Sam there?
Oh yeah, Sam. OG in the house. Oh Sam, we love you.
Nice. We got
Sam
Joe
is the
Mama.
Night Spot ambassador.
Joe Mama says Shames is new HD0 fanboy, and I agree.
That's true.
I feel like Joe Mama slipped off from the HD0 fanboy lately.
No, he still is.
He's
for
still
sure.
a fanboy, but not as strong. So
he's just not a new fanboy. He's an OG fanboy. He's like the president of the fanboy club. Well, vice president, because our boy, Orion's the president for sure, but Joe Mama, he's at least the secretary.
Morton Upshot says Santa brought me a set of Dominator goggles. These are Walksnail, right? I guess it's a Walksnail goggles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they have a race mode too.
Santa Claus was a communist. I didn't know.
Communist? What the heck?
Santa Claus must be a communist.
Yeah. All right.
No,
so we're
Walksnail's
moving
great.
to little other part. So this is VTX Pro versus Sport. So more Pro pilots running HD0 than Sport. Then we got camera aspect ratio. This is not so interesting, but for whatever reason, 6% people, 5 people literally are running 16:9. Like, why is that? Why? I guess
Why are you the way that you are?
I think these are also people running 533 frame, but not 533 motors. And they're also running.
No. You don't understand. You get the wider screen, and then like where you could see this much gate, you can see this much past the side of the gate to your next gate, right? Like there's just that much more to see on the side of the screen.
I guess it depends how your camera works, but I think most of the Giro cameras work that if you're running 16:9, it just trims top and bottom. It's not like. So 4:3 shows you the whole picture, but 16:9 I think just trims top and I don't know, like.
Oh wow.
Or maybe they're
that's
just
over
cameras,
my head. I don't know.
But maybe they're just cameras that with 16:9 sensor. I don't know. So this is weird.
So, I'm trying to figure out
so we want to know who is running 16 by I can figure out, but this is anonymous. So if you're running 16:9, just let us know in the comments why running 16:9. Then we got camera angles, and this is kind of interesting, and you can see. So
EDOC says the Nano 90 cameras are 16:9 default on HD0. Maybe that's.
But is it 16:9 sensor? Hey, Joe Mama in the chat. So Joe Mama must know.
Let's get it.
Joe Mama, do you know if
That was
it
EDOC
was
that
Jose
said that,
FPV and the Herder running 16:9.
Oh,
Jose FPV and the Herder. Oh, I guess Sean's got the data behind the scenes. Like,
Yeah, I was just- I
Vaughn's
just
working
pulled it
really
open.
hard to keep it anonymous, and Sean's like, "It
Well,
was
I mean,
a Herder."
Who was it? I'm just letting you know.
yeah, that's cool. So we got camera angles, and that's not surprising to see that pretty much half of the people running 50 to 55, half of the people running 46 to 50, and just a few people, just actually 3 people running more than 55-degree camera angle. Like,
Man,
Wow.
that's kind of wild. And just a few people running less than 45-degree camera angle.
Oh, and are those people in the top 16 that more than 55?
Yeah,
Is it the same amount of
so
people?
so here we got the top
I
16.
bet it's hyper.
Yeah, so most of people in top 16 running 51 to 55 degrees, and this is a blue plot. So this is 51 to 55 degrees. And then we got, one
I
person
think, yeah.
probably, hyper running more than 55 degrees in top 16.
Well,
I think
That
the seeing this year, I'm gonna be printing new camera mounts. I'm gonna be increasing some rates.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what's holding me back.
yeah, that's what it is.
Like-
Your rates are too slow, and your camera's not high enough.
Yeah.
So, like, sidebar from the chat, interesting. So, Double A says that he heard that JB and its Blunty are going to be commenting at a race in Texas. I have not heard that. I kind of feel like I should be knowing about stuff that's racing
Yeah,
and
what
happening
race
in
in
Texas.
Texas?
So, like,
Oh,
tell
maybe
us
a
more,
street league race or
Double A?
something.
Yeah, tell us more.
well, there is a street league race coming in Texas that, but to
I
my
guess the
knowledge,
JB doing that.
Those guys are not gonna be
Is
there.
it the MLDR? I don't know.
maybe,
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That would be hilarious.
right? But
No,
but
why? Yeah, though they're like the biggest like MLDR haters. I mean, they're not the biggest, but they're definitely not pro MLDR, right?
Well, no, they did one live stream. They did one live stream when they kind of said that MLDR are not paying, but then on the next live stream, someone from MLDR reached to them and explained why they haven't paid, what's the plans, and they kind of like chilled out and said, "Listen, MLDR is still a thing; they're real." And yeah.
No, and no. Do yourself a favor and just run the opposite direction.
Taksu, I hope I read your name correctly. Thanks for $9.99 super chat. And Merry Christmas to you too. Yeah, and Merry Christmas to everyone. Neil, where's your whatever red hat, or how do they call it? Like,
Oh, my Santa hat?
yeah,
I
and
only have a green Santa
and you should
hat.
dye
I
your
don't
beard
know.
in white too. Like that'd be
Oh,
hilarious.
that
yeah.
would
be
be
creepy.
so cute. I have a few hairs dyeing themselves white that I have to.
See, I've been undying my beard hairs white. I'm trying to grow out my beard.
Oh yeah.
I've been trying to look younger.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I like it.
here we can see, so the right plot is showing the results from 2022, and we can see that previous year people in generally running smaller camera angle. It was way more people running 45 to 50 degrees camera angle, and ADK is correct. The 48-degree camera angle is the best. 48,
Yeah,
not 49.
well, 49. 49. It's 49.
No, 48, yeah. So for some reason, people just start running higher camera angles. Yeah, that's interesting. And here we see camera angle Pro versus Sport. And of course, just Pro class running a little bit higher angle in general. But yeah, basically that's it. Moving next. Just this is all the camera stuff. VTX was cool. So antennas, this is something not super cool, but yeah, we still look at it. So Foxeer, 25% is the biggest market share. Oh no, TrueRC. TrueRC is actually over Foxeer. Yeah, antennas. And we got Lumineer, 18%.
The Rush, dude, the Rush antennas are so good that come with the mount. Have you guys seen those? It's like the antenna and the mount are all in one. It's like one of my favorite products of this last year.
What do you mean by mount? Like,
how do I
Rush? What's it called? He's looking it up.
I don't remember.
Rush FPV antenna?
Oh, with the mount, I see it there. It's that first one.
Is like this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're so good. Look at. Well, no, that's not even the one. Those are like DJI antennas. They got the little thing,
but these are cheap. These are like
you see that
$12-13 for two.
But and then what size is that? Like that ships with that mount on it?
Yeah. So you see my camera here. I have it on the.
Oh yeah, let me search.
Make Sean big. Put it in front of your face. Yeah, there you go.
So like it's like got the standoff mounts like all built in.
Yeah.
But that's cool. But that's a very particular thing. So it's like that. What size are those standoffs?
It's super stretchy.
Oh, well,
yeah. It's like it'll fit any size. Like
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah.
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 I think I even had like a open racer version of that just comes without the thing at the butt. Like so you can plug whatever antenna or mount.
I like.
Anyway, I really love these. I like. It seems silly to be blown away by an antenna, but I was like, they sent some as prizes for Freedom Spec, and I was like, oh, I saw one. I'm like, that's incredible. They're not. I mean, they're not super durable, like all of them in this size.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just wanted to point out that that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
There we got antennas. Here we got polarization. Apparently, one person was running dipole, and he asks not to tell. So,
well, let's control fine dipole.
Sean, yeah, this is Sean putting his Multigp official hat on now. Look at
it. Disqualified.
Yep.
Let's see.
Apparently the streak will stop at 8. That's all I'll say.
Oh,
I'm joking.
So more people running right polarization, a little bit less people running LHCP, and 15. I hear myself a little bit.
Oh, Sean. Oh, this is very so. As a Multigp official, how do you feel about antenna polarization?
Oh, I can't comment on that as a Multigp official.
Well,
Sean Ames, the guest of our.
What do you think about antenna polarization, Mr. Sean?
Because I'll just say that one of the most pissed out, I've seen you get upset a few times, all of them justified, but it's happened a few times. Not a lot. When I say a few, that's like facetiously, like actually only a few times I've seen you get quite upset. But I feel like one of the ones I've seen you most upset was like about antenna polarization and channel sets at official Multigp events.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I can start. I think polarization matters. Like it makes your video a little bit better. Like if you have some rough conditions, running proper polarization between pilots helps. Like, you know.
So I will say, so recently, we went to Callie and I went to like the race that Mondo and Evan put on in Knoxville, where we raced like 2 different tiny trainer classes and a tiny whoop class, or a whoop
Okay.
class rather. And we ran HD0 for all of it, and we had like nice full size like circular polarized antennas on our tiny trainers. But then the best video I had was actually the whoop light with a whip antenna, with a dipole antenna. Like, and I don't know why. I asked Carl and Ryan about it, and they theorized that maybe it's like the whoop light had lower output, and that's better in a high multipath environment. But
that makes sense.
I don't
too.
know.
Yeah, but
yeah. So,
anyways, yeah. So we're moving to another interesting topic, which is RC Link. And we have a big switch here between the years. So this is the current year, and 68% running Express LRS. And that's honestly not surprising me at all, because also Express LRS works nicely with HD0, and it also just a great control link. Although Mr. Sean thinks it's a pain in the ass, right? But
once you get it working, it's great, and I'm a fan of it. But the learning curve is really annoying. Yeah, that's it's not. And my biggest pushback on Express LRS is that it's so cheap that you see it a lot of times in like beginner kits, like ready to fly kits and stuff. There is no reason, if you're a manufacturer, okay, this is not official, this is not a Multigp comment, this is a Sean Ames comment. If you are a manufacturer and you're building a drone for a beginner and you put Express LRS in it, you should be slapped in the face.
Yeah.
Is that spicy enough for you?
Yeah, that's spicy enough.
It's just it's not beginner. Like there's nothing about Express LRS that should be marketed to a beginner first time.
Yeah, I had to deal with Express. I still fly Ghost, obviously. I had to deal with Express LRS a little bit to fly a few drones, and that was a little bit more complicated than Ghost, that's for sure. And
well, and when it doesn't work, it's like a whole rabbit trail. You know, like my first experience with it, I had a local friend who reached out and bought their son like a Whoop sized setup for Christmas. And he got an Express LRS radio and a Whoop with Express LRS in it and goggles and stuff. And then it was an SPI receiver, Express LRS. And so like, then you had to flash a nightly build, a beta flight to get the SPI receiver to work right. And it was like a whole mess of a drone that was literally marketed for a beginner. And I wanted to slap somebody in the face because of that one. And I felt bad as a friend that like suggested it. It just, I was really surprised with how horrific the experience was. But I do personally use Express LRS now, but I don't think it should be marketed to beginners.
Yeah,
we need real products, robust, simple products for beginners. That's something that I've chatted with some of our team at Multigp about too. Is like that is something we need for the hobby. Is of all of Flight One's stuff that they did very poorly, and this is by no means a Flight One recommendation, but their like setup wizard was incredible, and we need something like that in the hobby again. Because it's too complicated. You know, we need to make
Flight One was also very like kind of like very easy to set up because it's like one flight controller, and then there's just one place to solder your receiver, one place to solder your VTX, right? Whatever one, you know.
Not necessarily, but I mean, there was UARTs and like you had choices
right there. All right.
But it would detect where
the
receiver was. You know, it would automatically detect that stuff, and that was kind of cool, right? So I mean, that's something that you know, if we know anyone that works on the Beta Flight project, maybe we could let them know that. Man, like a wizard, a setup wizard would be really incredible.
I started doing wizards with a motor wizard and but then that's I cannot do like that's just way over my head to do like automatic detection for RC Link or whatever.
So if you're out there and you love FPV and you know something about software, then reach out to Yvonne and the rest of the Beta Flight crew and see if you can get involved in
automatic detection for the protocol.
The future relies on you. Okay, it's in your your hands.
Even would be like way cooler, like just much cooler than now if there was not automatic detection for protocol, but like you set the protocol, but then it selects your port automatically so that you like where I soldered it, you know, and it's just sets up by itself. That'd be cool. Not sure how much is
Yeah.
possible,
It
but
just knows that there's juice running to that port.
Or
Yeah.
even just
And
like if
that's-
it was linear, like, you know, beta flight right now is not linear at all, right? I mean, it sort of
Yeah.
is with the pages, but if it was like literally like step 1, identify your, you know, receiver protocol. Step 2, like what you are, did you connect it to? Like if it was literally just a process for someone to work through,
Yeah.
that might help too. But
And
this
then
isn't about,
but then they don't
beta
have
flight,
to
but-
watch my videos, and that's sad. Like,
yeah, it would
Yeah,
put
that's-
both Yvonne and Bardwell out of business.
yeah, that's a big conspiracy of YouTubers and with Betaflight community developers that they make things complicated so that we have job. Yeah,
And that's totally not true. That's, you know, like what you guys do should be commended. But I'm just saying, like, I think that that would be good for the future
yeah, I agree.
for the kids.
Yeah. So yeah, Express LRS, well, good job. If anyone from Express LRS
Yeah.
development team is working, like that's a big achievement because you can see
Yeah.
you were like 20% last year and now it's 68%. This is like the biggest jump out of
And
all
so-
the, you know, out
And
of
so
all.
same,
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, this is a big jump. Sorry, same like thing. It was like, where'd the market share come from, right? That's interesting to look at. And so, and it looks like if you look at the plots there, like it came from Ghost and came from Tracer,
Yeah.
right? So Ghost, like I can't see all of it, but Ghost, you know,
Ghost-
lost half of its market share, a little bit more, and Tracer also lost half. So half
Yeah.
Yeah.
or a little more of both of the people using that move to Express LRS. Now
Yeah.
the question is, a lot of that has to do with this spike in HD0, and then HD0, like where what made Ghost so awesome, or still awesome if you use analog, is that there's a hybrid board, and like that's such a nice piece of equipment
Yeah.
that has your receiver and your analog VTX in one piece, and a lot of racers were using that in the past, and I mean I still use it for sure, but I haven't made the jump to HD0 yet. And well, but one of the reasons why I haven't made the jump to HD0, partly, you know, it has to do with me being lazy, but like also that like it's another thing to build, right? And like, and then also have to move to Alpha Ghost and into like a whole nother radio protocol. It's just such a big jump to move.
Someone,
Yeah. But the thing that Express LRS did though is they came out with a product that's performance was as good, if not better. It's, you know, objectively can be better in some situations, in a
Yeah.
lot of situations. And there's diversity, not in the traditional sense, or maybe in the traditional sense. There's diversity in the sense of like, if you want a receiver that's got a chip antenna, or a receiver that's got a board antenna, or a receiver that's got you know, a UFL connection for an antenna, like you can buy that, right? With
Yeah.
Ghost, it's like you're going to buy what they make if you want to be
Yeah.
on Ghost. And so the fact that it's open source means that there's the diversity in the type of products. And then additionally, it is in fact cheaper because it's open source.
Yeah.
And the performance is, I think, objectively probably on the same level as what Ghost can be. I don't think it's necessarily better, but
Sure.
they can do some stuff that has a higher number, right? But it's absolutely not worse than Ghost in regards to its performance.
So we got one pilot on Spectrum this year and one pilot on Free Sky.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I noticed that Crossfire went extinct officially.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
right.
someone was, I think it was DFW FPV was asking if Crossfire was ever a thing for racing, and it certainly
Yeah.
was. And
Yeah.
I still think, well, we interviewed Trappy, and I think I told it to him, maybe not, but I think like Crossfire, my purchase of Crossfire back in the days was like the worst purchase for racing I ever had, because it was all hyped and the high refresh rate, and it was really faster RC link than anything else on the market. Yeah, you fly on your backyard, it's so fast, but then you go to racing, you cannot race 150 hertz. You gotta go back to 50 hertz, and that was slow. And this is like, it was fast, just, yeah. Although it's a great link, I still have it, and I have it on my sort of long-range freestyle quads, and yeah, it still works.
Yeah. You were
All
flying
right.
it today.
Let's see what we have next. So we have our C-Link Pro versus our C-Link Sport, and it's all the same. So although in Pro class no one runs Free Sky, yeah.
But we did see
So-
our Free Sky and Spectrum guys came from Sport. I was I was curious.
Yeah,
to that
they're
when you
coming
said
from
it.
Sport. Yeah, they're coming from Sport. Cool. Well, if it works, it works, right? Like,
Sure. Yeah.
who the hell cares? So, we're moving to lipos, and this is kind of
Ooh.
interesting. That I was not expect that at all. So 60%, almost 60% were Tattoo batteries. I guess great job Tattoo, like with all their marketing, because they're sponsoring a lot of pilots and.
Well, and Tattoo is a great company, but there was some supply chain issues right before Champs.
That's for sure. Yeah.
That, for instance, I would have used the 533 packs that are a dog comp packs. I think. Well, we shouldn't say that, but I would have used the 533 packs, not the dog comp packs, so you can get it 533, but the 533 budget packs. I would have used those, but they didn't make it in time, and so I ended up having to purchase Tattoo packs. Kind of last minute. So I mean, there could have been other people. I was kind of waiting, and then finally purchased Tattoo batteries from a vendor.
Because I was also I would expect to like more 533 packs. The budget ones, they're good packs and they're cheaper.
Yeah,
we got only
and that, but they
running.
they weren't available, right? And so when they weren't available, like there's such a price jump between those packs and anything else. I literally went to your video of on where you tested the packs. And that's how I made my purchasing decision on whether or not to buy Tattoo or.
Well, I hope you didn't regret following.
No, they were great. Yeah.
So Double A says this is why Tracer was created, right? Yeah, I guess like because Crossfire sucked for racing and for multiple people playing at the same time, and they created Tracer. And well, Ghost was created first before Tracer. So yeah. So, and what about milliamp hour? So here we have, well, half of the people running 1300 to 1400 milliamp hour.
Swap back to the thing.
Oh, yeah,
Give
sorry.
us a screen. Give
Thank
us
you.
A screen.
Yeah, so half people, this is red, and 13 to 1400, half of the people running that. And actually we got 26% running 1500 to 1600. That was like what even these packs are. And then we got
There's
one
1550, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. And then we got one pilot running 1700 mile. More than 1700 mile. Like that's kind of crazy. Like,
there was something super interesting that happened at Champs 2 related to batteries.
Okay.
Was there was internal discussion about, we did qualifying based on 2 laps, is that right?
I think so.
Qualifying was based on 2 laps, but then when we came to race time, like we were discussing, should we do? And a lot of people were getting 3 laps, but it was like, should we do 3 laps or no? Am I getting it wrong? Yeah, 2 laps.
No, the pilots voted to race 3 laps. I do know that.
Yeah. And we were like, we want to do 3 laps. We were afraid there would be mutiny, right? But it was like, I kind of went and sampled a few people, and they were like, oh no, I want to do 3 laps. One person said 4. Engineer was like, I want to race 4 laps. But yeah, that was really surprising and exciting, to be honest, that the pilots were prepared to race, for 3 laps. But that was great. And a lot of pilots were, there was a little bit of issues, like, for instance, I think Prop had been running a smaller battery and then switched to the larger battery for finals day, I think. And he didn't necessarily have the performance on finals day that he wanted. I don't know how much of that was related to that battery switch, but that's something to consider for sure. I was afraid, so I ran the 1550s, the Tattoo 1550s the whole time, because I was worried that I wouldn't be able to do 3 laps. I think I might have been able to on the 1380 if I ran clean, but anyway, kind of interesting.
So here if we want to compare the plots between this year and 2022, and Tattoo actually went smaller. So in 2022 Tattoo, where was the graph disappeared? I don't know, where is that? Oh, right here. So Tattoo was 70%, and now it's 60% basically. Yeah, cool. So this is Milliamp Pro versus Milliamp Sport, and So yeah, sports were most of the sport guys were running 13 to 1400. We move Sean over it. And Neil. Oh,
There we go. Hey.
yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
And
Yeah, we had Callie run 1380s. Or the 15. No, what are they? What's the tattoo battery? 1400s.
1400.
Yeah, she run 1400s for sport, and then I ran 1550s because we didn't know which battery to buy, so I bought like an equal amount of both. So that was a way of making sure we both had fresh batteries.
Nice.
This is top 16.
Okay.
60%. So obviously top 16 faster pilots are running bigger batteries, and that's kind of expected. Yeah, so 60% running something like 1550, and nobody running under 1300 mAh. That's kind of expected.
I'm curious what where those splits are. Like, did it, Minchan, what did he get?
Oh yeah, Sean's back. Sean's like looking at all the behind the scenes data.
I was curious what pack he ran. If he ran 1380s.
Well, you'll have to tell us now. You can't just keep that little nugget to yourself. While Sean's looking that up, we're also looking at
Callie's
voltage
fast,
charge.
Yeah. Mr. Bobby, Callie is fast.
Callie is fast.
She is.
Minchan was on a dogcom that was bigger than 1400, but smaller than 1500. So he had some special dogcom, right? Because theirs were traditionally, they have like 1380s, I think.
Yep.
But maybe they had they did have a bigger one, those 1500, because I bought a couple off of the bits. So that's, it sounds like that's what he was running.
Yeah, so these are plots of obviously this year you weren't allowed to charge over 4.35 per cell. But here we can still see that the faster pilots tend to overcharge more, so there's just more pilots overcharging to 4.35. And as we move to sport class, then it's like, 20% overcharging. Now, it's actually half of them overcharging, so it's still... Most of people still overcharging to 4.35. Yeah.
Oh, I was just wondering if they were checking anybody, and then here Jordal writes that he got kicked off the line for having a cell at 436.
Jordal, I hope I read this nickname correctly. Jordal says he got kicked off the line for having a cell at 4.36. How do you explain that, Mr. Sean?
Yeah, he was at 4.36 and the limit was 4.35. So my guess is that he didn't lose that battery. If I had to guess, they didn't take the battery.
More than that. Yeah.
There was a little bit of drama in the sense that, I mean, for the most part, we didn't have any trouble. Actually, Chris Thomas wanted desperately to disqualify Minchan in the finals. He specifically
really,
yes, he checked his battery specifically, like just because, like, if Minchan's just so exceptionally good, it's like, can we have some drama? He went and checked him, but he was like 4.34 right on the button, and but. What we did notice though is some people's chargers are liars. Like they're lying to you a bit, and they're not all calibrated the same. And so the thing is that we have to have a limit. We can't say, hey, if the limit's 4.35, but we'll do an overage of 5%. Well, then the limit's actually 5% more than 4.35, right? Yeah. So now it's the same thing. Well, I was just 1% over. Like there has to be a number that's a limit somewhere, and so it really worked out pretty well. I think not having a overcharging limit really helps the pilots that have those battery sponsors that can literally just one and done a battery. We shouldn't incentivize people to destroy batteries, and so that's a big part of it. And ultimately, I think it worked out well. It is going to be something that people will just have to learn, when their charger says 4.35, that might be a little spicy. So we were charging to 4.34, 4.33 to be safe. And it looked good each time. But there's also just no reason to charge to 4.35, like why be right on the edge, because you never know. You can always go to Paul and the flight line director and have them check your battery. ahead of
Yeah,
time.
and so
obviously-
sometimes there could be because Morton in the chat asking how they enforce it. So there is a random checks. So sometimes Paul, the race manager or like a line manager, he just goes and randomly checks pilots. And also, I guess, according to Sean, there's like other pilots can call for voltage check on other pilots. Like,
yeah.
so that's how it was happening. All right, so we're moving on to radio. And what a surprise! Like 80%, 90% people running a Radio Master. And,
Okay.
yeah,
Wow.
I think that's like, well, after beta flight, because 100% running beta flight, but beta flight doesn't count because it's not hardware. So I think Radio Master is like the winner, like it's like the most popular brand, like pretty much everyone. And then we got one person on Orca, 3 people on Jumper. We got 1 person on Spectrum. This is Neil's favorite radio. 2 people on TBS, I guess TBS Tango 2 probably. And then 1 person on Free Sky. And they're growing, like, because you can see on the right, we have Radio Master 80% last year. And this year they were 90%. So
I mean, it'd be really interesting, though, to see. So I bet 2021, though, was like 30%.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah,
you know, they really have grown, like, really taken over in the last few years.
Yeah, and obviously they're sponsoring a lot of pilots, but also just a bunch of people just buying them because it's a good radio. So Radio Master, good job. And this is the radio model, and you can see the most popular model is TX16S. 72% people TX16S radio. And then next one is Radio Master Boxer, which just basically came in like half year ago or something. So 13%, 11 people running Radio Master Boxer, and 1 person running FPV control. I think it's the Orca radio, right?
Yes.
And then we got 1 person Jumper, then T20, some pocket radio Spectrum, Tango 2. Yeah, Radio Master. 1 people running Zorro, QX7S, like this. The radio that Matt has. Yeah, cool. So now we'll almost move to sponsorship part. Like, I think that's the most exciting part. I'm very excited about sponsorship. So the next plot we have props. And I was surprised to see that. So GemFun, 71%. Like,
wow.
I was expecting to see 50-50 with HQ. But yeah.
Well, I really think a lot of that has to do with Mike Durant's like the Gym Fan rep. He has a fancy title.
Yeah.
But he's a really good guy, and he has been really present at all the events. And I think that goes so far for, company representatives to be present at events, mixing it up with pilots, just being a part of it. And so, like, I really think that's got to be, a big reason why Gym Fan has such a large piece of market share, because he's there and he's doing a lot of good work. As much as we like to mess with him, I know you do at least.
I do,
very much enjoy messing with Mike. But man, he really is a great guy, and he's doing such good work just being present, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, they're both great. Great prop companies. HQ. Obviously, I've got a long time relationship with Zong at HQ. He's been very good to us in the hobby, and Gym Fan too. Gym Fan though, kind of the same situation. They're always there supporting the events, and having Mike out and building those relationships is a big thing. Zong, we'd love to see you over here.
Yes, I want to meet Zong.
Because we're tired to see just Mike here. Like, his face is kind of like became old, so we gotta see. Yeah, and we can see. So GemFun taking a little bit over HQ, because last year it was 60% GemFun, and now it's 71. All right, someone doing something with their fingers. I bet it's Neil.
Oh, it's me. Sorry.
What were you doing?
Crackling. I'm such a fidgeter, like crackling this shit on my desk. Like,
yeah, look at him. Do you at least feel guilty or what?
I do.
Ruining our live stream, like here.
But like, it's so funny. I printed a brand new fidget spinner today because I got a new printer, and I hadn't printed like a fidget yet. And I've been working so hard to not pick it up. It's just been sitting there. But then I pick up and crackle this freaking little thing. Like,
so the colors are kind of messed up, but you can see that between Pro and Sport, like the separation of props is the same. So it's whatever. Gem Fund is still bigger than HQ. HQ is still a good marketplace. One guy running dull props, and we got iFlight Nazgul R5. One guy running that.
Interesting.
And we got one guy running Hobby Wing Azure. All right.
Wow.
I guess
Nice.
works for them. All right. So we're moving to, I think, cool part. So this is sponsorship.
Ooh.
All right. Tell us about what you got here.
So this plot, so on the left side is how many people, right? So the left axis is how many people, and
Yeah.
percent of sponsored gear. So you see we have most of people, 28 people with zero sponsorship, like no sponsorship whatsoever. Then we got 25 people with sponsored about 10% of their gear. So 10% of their gear is sponsored for 10 people. Then we got 30% sponsored gear, 15 people, right? And so on. And then we got 2 people with 100% sponsorship. So this is how this plot goes, right? And when we got one guy, and that was Minchen, and that was Minchen. I was like, we're gonna disclose that. So for whatever reason, Minchen said that he's not sponsored with something. I forgot what was that. So if you're out
what
there,
is the one thing Minchan will pay for?
Yeah,
I think it was a
that's
frame. I think it was frame. So he said he got this discounted frame or something.
Oh, okay. He didn't get it for free. He had to pay for it.
Because it's basically like you shouldn't be trusting 100% to this plot, because if obviously that was a separation, you know, I put like a weight for if you sponsored with a battery, how much weight is that to your gear, you know, you sponsored. This doesn't include goggles, by the way, so we're gonna look at pilots sponsored by goggles in a separate plot. So if you sponsored by frame, that's not as much if you sponsored with ESCs, so that was kind of waiting. But yeah, so Minchen, if you're out there and ready to sponsor Minchen with, I think it was a frame, then go ahead. Minchen needs sponsor.
Well, Minchan said that he ran a combination of both the Kronos frame and his frame. So maybe
that's she bought his frames. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Cool.
Good question, huh?
Yeah. So, but we still see. So if you're like average pilot, like mode pilot, I think they call it not average, but they call it mode. If you're mode pilot, then you're not sponsored. Like,
right.
But if you're average pilot, then you're probably sponsored somewhere, whatever, like 20% of your gear is sponsored. Cool. And then we have plots of sponsorship pro versus sport. And then we can see that the average is moved for pro class. So average pro class has 30% of his gear sponsored. I think that's kind of cool. And then sport class, and we can see we have someone in sport class, 3 pilots in sport class that have 50% of their gear sponsored. And that's kind of cool. And then we got sponsorship top 16. So one guy, and I even remember who is that, said that he's not sponsored at all in being in top 16.
Wow.
Like, can you believe in that, Mr. Sean? Should we disclose his name?
Do you know who it is?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because I was like, who is that? And I just checked, and I know who is that. And it's hard to believe he doesn't have any sponsorship. Like,
well, maybe we should say it. So, like, that's
Drobot Racer. That was Drobot Racer.
Drobot Racer.
Oh, that's not true.
Sponsor.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he was like, but I mean, he has sponsors now because he's like posting about
his sponsors.
So he was lazy. Or Neil would say, Mr. Drobot Racer, you're full of shit.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I wouldn't have expected you to say that.
Yeah, that's not what I said. And so still we got like in top 16 only 2 people sponsored with 100% of their gear. And on average, if you're top 16, you got half of your gear sponsored.
Okay.
So
and by sponsor, does that, so that's if it's 100% free for the person?
So 2 people voted that they have everything for free. Goggles not included, so I didn't include goggles here. It's like a gear because we're gonna look at goggles. And if it's like, because if someone voted that he said he getting like discounted frames, then I lowered his overall percentage just to see. There's a lot of plotting in Google documents, so to figure that all out. So then we got goggle sponsorship, and 65% of people did not have any sponsorship with the goggles, like zero sponsorship with the goggles. Then we got 26% that said that they have discounted goggles, and only 8%, so that's 7 people, have their goggles for free. Yeah, then we got, I just made like a separate sponsorship for batteries because I was just curious to see the batteries. And we got no sponsorship, 56%, discounted batteries, 30%, free batteries, 12%.
Dang.
Yeah, I think
That's a good sponsorship.
Yeah, batteries, like, they're like one of the most expensive thing. Like, it's cool to have free goggles, right? But
Yeah.
you just buy once, but then on batteries, like, man, we spend a lot of money for batteries. Yeah. Then we got prop sponsorships. So this was kind of surprised to see a lot of people getting free props. Basically, like 46% getting free props, and this across all, like just pro and sport. Then four people said that they have discounted props. Like, that's
Interesting.
Yeah, and no sponsorship for props is 48%, and then ESC sponsorship. That's just also because ESC is a big deal. Like, we still, and then we get no discount, nothing sponsorship for ESCs for 60%, 20% getting them for free, and 20% getting discounted ESCs.
Nice.
So that's kind of the plot. Yeah. Now, before we start removing sponsored pilots, and because we can, like, figure out the trend. Like, all right, there's a lot of pilots flying H0. What if we remove all the H0 sponsored pilots? How the plot's gonna look? Before we move on, like, this is the page with a common racer. Let me move to the. So this is like a common racer. That, so if you meet a drone racer at Champs, most likely he will be running 533 light switch V2. Most likely he'll be running 533 motors, either Champ motors or heads-up motors. Most likely he'll be running Gemfan props. Most likely he'll be running Foxeer or True RC antennas. Most likely he'll be running Foxeer or Hobby Wing stack. And he will be running Betaflight. He will be running Express LRS. He will be on HD0. He'll be running Tattoo batteries, and of course he will be running Radio Master TX16S. And on average, like, most likely this person will have 20% sponsorship of his gear. Most likely he broke $175 worth of parts at Champs. Most likely he's running 50 degrees camera angle, and most likely he's running 600 degrees rates. At least for one of the
axes.
We
are some special kind of nerds.
Yeah, totally.
That's awesome though. That is so cool to be able to see that.
Who is listening to that? Like,
yeah, if you're still awake, you are weird and we love you.
Yeah. Thank you very much for support, guys. Like, because I figured like that probably will be like our least was viewed live stream.
There are 100 psychopaths watching this stream right now, and we just want to say thank you.
Yeah,
we're on the same
guys.
Team. We're crazy people too.
Yeah, Roger says he got free stickers. Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah!
Nice.
It's pretty sad.
That's good. I spent a lot of money on stickers.
Do you? Like, how that's like? I spent zero money on stickers. Like,
well, that's because like you give away stickers that I pay for. And
oh yeah, No, I paid for shit pile stickers too, I think.
That's true. Yeah, I'm just more fuck with you. Yeah, but we spent a lot of money on shit pile stickers.
Fuck with Sean. Don't fuck with me.
And then I also have bought a bunch of grower stickers over the years.
Oh, Miss Randy is here. Legend Randy, saying shitty spectators.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So this is if you're at Champs, most likely you broke $175 worth of shit. And let me share this screen again. Yeah, and
seems like it was worth it. You definitely had more than $175 worth of fun. I'll tell you that.
Oh 100%. 100%. Yeah. Of course, this doesn't include like the travels and stuff. It's like everyone travels like Airbnb or hotel. This is just the parts. So that's kind of cool. So what do you think, like, Neil? So because obviously there are a bunch of pilots running this gear. Let me show it again.
Okay.
If you are one of these pilots, if you were one of these pilots, would you be upset now, or would you be like, hell yeah? Because it must be also lame that you're like average pilot. Like,
Oh, I see. Yeah, I was
it's
trying to
like
figure out where you're
you
going with
gotta
that.
be running at least open racer so that you're not average pilot, you know? Or
Well, that's
something.
right. So then I'm close
Yeah,
to
but-
average there, but I don't use that frame. I guess that's what makes me interesting. What else on that list? I can't.
Well,
see
you're
it
also
now,
not
but, like,
running Gem Fan props. You're running HQ.
I'm not running Gym Fan props. I'm not using Express LRS.
Yeah, so you're not
I'm
average.
not
But if
using
you
HD0.
were this average, would you be upset or you would be like, hell yeah?
I guess. Well, I don't know. Part of me would be like, hell yeah, I'm using what everybody's using. But then it's like, well, then you're quite the follower there, huh?
Yeah.
You're not really.
Well, it's like it's a personality type thing more than anything.
right.
You know what I mean? Like there's folks I've used the analogy before that like there's some people that are like oh, so you like cereal and you eat that with a spoon? Like, how do you know it's not better to eat cereal with a fork? Like, have you tried it? You know, like,
Yeah.
And so, you know, there's that aspect like of not wanting to be the average, or these people are like, you know, I want to try something different or whatever. You know, that's the folks you'll see running like, you know, a 4-inch or
Right. The super light setups.
trying to do, you know, like they can figure something else that no one else has really figured out. Like,
Yeah.
that's you know, there's that personality type out there. It definitely exists in this space. I think it's indicative to the thing that attracts drone racers, that you know, a certain percentage are going to be that personality type, you know. But
Yeah.
like, you know, I like eating cereal with a spoon, and I'm pretty sure it's not better with a fork. But you know, you knock yourself out, buddy. Have fun.
Right.
You know,
Chopsticks. That's the
Yeah.
way.
KC Cake, you said definitely average pilot. Well, if you're not, because you said you're not running, you're running analog. So these days you're not average pilot if you're running analog. That's for sure. Because, yeah, like.
was there an average pilot? Was there someone that nailed all of them?
I think a lot. I didn't check, but I'm pretty sure it was a lot.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Well, what
would
about you,
imagine.
Sean? Like,
Yeah.
which of these gear is not you?
Yeah, for us, the props and antennas
Yeah.
are the thing that take us out of it.
You still running light switch V2 or?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
Love the light switch V2 and yeah.
Yeah, now you're
that's
running
really
Express LRS. You're not running Ghost anymore, and you're running Hobby Wing or
unfortunately.
Foxier.
Hobby Wing, yeah, because of the HD0 plug.
Oh, do you know
so
that
nice.
there was one pilot running Orca flight controllers at Champs? Well, you probably know who was that.
Adrian, right? Was that Adrian?
Yeah, I didn't
That I
check who
heard?
was that, but yeah, one pilot was running
Yeah.
Orca, and like that gets me excited because I have this flight controller. I'm not even sure if I'm supposed to show it, but I have
Oh,
this
you
flight
have
controller.
one.
Yeah, I have one analog Orca flight controller and ESC, and I have one HD0 flight controller and ESC. And but Mr. Tony, if you're watching this, you probably don't. You still owe me the code for Betaflight that makes it works nicely with HD0 to switch channels. Yeah.
Yep.
So-
Get it to him.
Orca. Okay, it wasn't Adrian. Oh, it was Ribbit. Okay.
Yeah.
It was a Orca employee. And she's the one I knew she had them. She was showing them off.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a cool thing. You would definitely see me likely going back to Ghost if there was a Orca flight controller. That'd be really compelling. But I'll tell you, it's gonna have to have like a plug included that plugs directly into a Hobby Wing ESC or a Foxier ESC. You know?
Yeah, I think they mesh
Without
with
needing to be
Foxy.
repinned.
Yeah, I think they mesh with the Foxier ESCs except telemetry and current, which we don't really care. We don't use any of that usually. So
Yeah, because
So
they're
you can-
bidirectional.
yeah,
right?
you can plug it in and yeah. Cool. So now we're moving to, well, before we start removing sponsored pilots and see how the trends are going without sponsored pilots, it's like a little fun section because we also had a question, would you like to share additional information about your fleet? And people were sharing some information about your fleet. So highlighted answer, would you like to share additional
Sure.
info? Someone said sure. So like, thanks for sharing. That was cool. Yeah, that was funny that the most common comment, they go faster than yours, etc. Like just a lot of people are like faster than yours.
Oh, the shore answer, that was Scorcher, the
Yeah.
sport class champion. So
Oh,
Okay.
all right.
if you want to know, then hit him
Yeah.
up. He's local to Lincoln, Nebraska. So
He's got stuff to share.
Yeah.
Yep.
So then highlighted answer, someone commented Shames is awesome, and at the same time saying that he is Sock Puppet FPV. So
Oh, it's like from the
That's
same person?
funny.
yeah, same person.
Oh.
what the
Wow.
frick?
So how you can prove to us you're not Sock Puppet FPV, Sean?
Oh, how do I prove it? I can't prove it to my family. At dinner, I told them I'm gonna do this podcast with you guys, and I told them that the freaking thumbnail had the sock puppet in it, and they're like, "Oh, okay." Like my wife has like tried cornering me and it's like thinking that I'm the freaking sock puppet. And at dinner, I got a little frustrated because I don't like people calling me the sock puppet because it's very lonely to be the only one of the I would say I have to be one of the few people on earth besides the actual sock puppet. That person knows for sure. And me, we're the only ones that know that I'm 100% not the sock puppet. But I don't even get Pokemon. I have no idea what those card things are. I've never seen a Pokemon card in my life. I don't understand that at all. And it's definitely Jay Rice and Sky and the Holy Trinity of Street League. I'm certain it's those guys. I'm not the freaking sock puppet. Now I will say I have submitted a fair number of memes to the sock puppet page.
Yes.
And some of which have made it to the sock puppet page, but I am a contributor via direct message to the sock puppet. But there you go. See, I would have had Multigp like way higher than that. And then also look at that meme. There's no Street League on that meme.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's odd. It's odd there's no Street League there.
Why would they do that?
How do I make it
I'll just say there's pretty much it's interesting. I'll say a couple of things. There's nothing you can say that will get you off the sock puppet suspect
I know.
list. Yeah. But I'll also say that for me anyways, what got you on the suspect list was you were not on my suspect list until one day we were sitting in Discord and you said, I wonder why nobody's thought that I was the sock puppet. Like, why has nobody accused me of being the sock puppet yet? And that came out of your mouth. And that's when I was like, like,
I did.
Yeah, Hyper, we can see you. Yeah, like we already figured it out. Yeah, so the Robot Racer was the only guy in top 16 who said he's not sponsored at all, and like he is for sure sponsored. So in case someone doesn't know, there is like Facebook page FPV Sock Puppet. That's what I'm showing now, and they've been posting anonymous, kind of spicy memes. I feel like not so spicy lately. But
I'll point out I haven't seen the Barbie movie, right? That's like his profile picture's Ken or whatever. Apparently Proximo is quite the Knuff fan because he had a Knuff shirt on, and I asked like my daughter's like, "What's Knuff?" And apparently that's a Barbie movie thing.
Okay.
So, I'm gonna drop the link to Sock Puppet in the chat if anyone wants to check it.
Yeah, join it out. There's some good.
I'm trying to look through
there.
My daughter Callie, she made a sock puppet puppet.
Yeah,
that's right.
She took to IO. That was pretty cool.
So, I mean, I also thought it was Callie for a little while. I've also thought that it could be Callie and you. That it's just like
so we actually have like a little, because people were in this survey, people were asked who is Sock Puppet, and the most common answer is like who, do, and would.
Oh.
So 6 people said that, then 4 people for Sky.
Okay,
so,
I mean it's definitely at the top of the list.
So then we got 3 people. Yeah. They got 3 people for Kali.
3 people think it's Callie.
Yeah, 3 people thinks it's me. 3 people thinks it's you.
Who's you, Sean?
So that would be me because I shared the
I don't know. Maybe it's just you, whoever reads it. So like, if you're watching now, and then you could be Sock Puppet. 3 people thinks it's you. Then 3 people said it's me. Whoever voted, they said me. Then 2 people for Joe Mama, and then let's see. Then these comments should go here. Yeah. So 2 people said it's Joe Mama, 2 people said it's Jay Rice, and 1 guy said someone said Street League guy with the glasses. So I think that's also
okay. So that's also Jay Rice.
And then this should go here. Yeah, so let's see.
Cole is in the chat saying it's you and me.
Yeah.
Because Cole has always said that
Who
he
is
thinks
Chris
that
Thompson?
it's you and
Yeah. So we got 2 people saying it's MCK, and then I remember some guy said it's MCK for sure. Like, all right. Then 2 people say it's Shames, and Shames also voted not me, damn it. So
I will also say that, like, you remember how the Sock Puppet had been dormant and then came to life while we were all at Ice Storm?
yeah.
Yes.
Like, I was at Ice Storm. Like, I didn't have access to.
Okay, but also
stuff.
you said, and then this was interesting that about what this is like your family being convinced that you had made some comment about some post or something that Dubicki or Potato
his
had.
Dubicki fight one, yeah.
Yes, and then that same day, the first card came out, the first Pokemon card, and it was Dubicki, and that was posted the same day. And you said that's when your wife really came and cornered you.
Well, again, that was like the second time. She's like, "You have to tell me, are you the Sock Puppet?" I'm like, "No." Like, a lot of people saw the Dubicki video, right? Because it was hilarious, where he could beat up in the top 16. It was a great video. I thought it was really funny.
Yeah. So we got.
I'm trying to like.
Yeah.
I submitted the Spider-Man meme of like the people pointing at each other, calling each other a Sock Puppet.
Yeah. But like we made that together in Discord.
Yeah, in Discord.
Yeah.
Well, Sock Puppet didn't share most of my last memes. Like, I was pretty upset. Sock Puppet, if you watch it, you just like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah, we have sent him some good ones that haven't been posted.
Right. Yeah, I sent him one that was really good, a video meme that he did not share that was phenomenal.
Gold
so
in your inbox.
2 people said that Sock Puppet, not me, whoever was voting. Then 2 people said it's 2 people said it's Street League guys, and 1 people.
So there's a lot of Sky, J Rice, Street League guys.
Street League.
Like, that's. I'm saying if we're collectively deciding who it is, I think we're kind of narrowing.
Okay, but there's also a lot of votes for Callie and you. I mean, if we're just adding up, there's 3 votes for Callie, there's 3 votes for you, and there's 2 votes for James. So, like, that's a lot of votes for the whole, for the aim.
I digress.
I kind of think that who put you there is not actually pointing to Sean. I don't know.
Yeah,
well, no, but
it's like a joke, you know. Because also someone voted your mom. Like, I don't think he's about like you.
Chris Thompson got a vote.
Yeah, we got Chris Thompson 1 vote. We got 1 vote for Neil. We got 1 for Levi, Trappy, Soko, your mom, Mio, Stark. Stark is interesting.
Oh, Stark, that'd be hilarious.
Cool, yeah. So, all right, moving off the Sock Puppet, and
Wait, who's Robert Paulson?
Yeah, I don't.
That's the only person on the list I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Either. Maybe it really is that person.
So Shames Shames voted. He literally said, "Not me, damn it," in that field where he votes. So someone asking, yeah, and like, so in case everyone interested, it's like, too many buttons to click to share. I guess it's not. I can just I'm not sharing
Who did
this.
Callie vote for? Alex.
Callie voted for Shames. Callie voted for Shames. Yeah.
Little shit.
Well, also, like, because now we kind of disclosed it. So Callie voted for Shames, but she also voted that Shames is awesome in the field. What do you want to add about your fleet? So she also said Shames is awesome at the same time.
Yeah, maybe because she wouldn't have a fleet without Shames. I don't know.
That's true.
Okay.
The 2 are connected.
Doug says that Robert Paulson is a Fight Club reference.
Yeah.
His name is Robert Paulson.
Okay.
So in case everyone interested, this spreadsheet with all the plots here. After the live stream, I'll share the link in the comments, not in the comments, in the description. So now we're moving to sponsored stuff. So let's move first to VTX.
Real spicy.
So, all right, Mr. Neil. So overall, it's a question to you.
Yeah.
And Shames too. Like, what do you think, Shames? So overall, we had 63% people running HD0. If we remove HD0 sponsored pilots, what would be that number? Just completely removed.
Now, are you removing HD0 sponsored pilots and Orca sponsored pilots?
No, it's just removing
pilots.
Oh no,
Okay,
it's
I think that breaks it.
Hold on. Yeah, it's removing everyone who has VTX sponsorship.
Okay, cool. Then I think it's going to be pretty similar.
You think similar? Neil, what's your guess?
Yeah.
Because I wanted to see that, because that'd be some drama. I wanted to see that H0 margin drops a lot, and it could be dropping a lot.
I mean, because
I think a lot of people that are hanging on to, honestly, I think a lot of people hanging on at the competitive level to analog are doing so because they have agreements with companies that make analog equipment. Like, so I think that, but obviously there's a lot of, like, the top pilots are all sponsored by HD0 without a doubt. But
Yeah.
I think that it's maybe a 10% drop in HD0 would be my guess.
All right.
I haven't looked at this sheet.
So 73% HD0 sponsored. Now 63? We're moving 63. Yeah, 63. Yeah. Now we're removing all that, and it's 63. Oh no, it's not. This 57. 57. Yeah, it's the same plot. It's the same plot. Let me move it. So this is,
or is that mine?
Yeah, move our faces.
Yeah, is this. So this is if we remove all the VTX sponsorship, and HD0 is still a thing. So apparently a bunch of people running HD0 not because they're sponsored. If you guys curious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, and I will say that that in my household there's one person sponsored by HD0 and one person who's not. I'm not technically sponsored by HD0, but my daughter is, and so but I will say that that without shilling, or I mean, you'll just have to take it for what it's worth. This is not financial advice, but
yeah,
I was blown. It's switching to HD0 has been pretty much the only gear that I've switched that I felt gave me a significant boost in performance. Like, it actually made a difference when I personally switched. And maybe it has to do with my vision, because Callie didn't necessarily see a big increase in her performance switching to HD0, but I did. I mean, she likes it better, and I think if I made her go back to analog now, she'd try to kill me. But I got legitimately faster. I went from being like, 10th in all the Freedom Spec races to top 5, like pretty drastically at the champs.
Mr. Hyper, since you're in the chat, so what is more important, camera position or HD0? We need to know the answers. Dramama says Shames has seen the light. Yeah, so all right, so on the left side you guys see the VTX, like just how many people running HD0, and on the right you see how many people running HD0 if we remove all sponsored pilots that are sponsored with VTX. So now next one we have a frame, and let's do the same game. So we got frame.
Interesting.
So we have FPV supply CO 18%. And 533, 43% across all the pilots. How you think it's going to change if we remove all frame sponsored pilots?
It's probably going to be pretty similar. I don't think it changes a lot.
Oh man,
is my guess.
I mean, like but earlier
supply
in the stream,
company might drop significantly.
Yeah,
maybe
because I feel like we made that comment earlier. Maybe even that you said that.
Well, just because it hadn't been out as long, right?
Yeah,
so, like,
right.
The kids that were on it, like, we're definitely in like the first batch, which typically go to sponsored pilots, right? So it's not really that it's inferior. It's just that it hadn't been out as long, and it doesn't have like the brand dominance that maybe the 533 one does.
Yeah,
so,
all right.
I mean,
seeing results. Boom. So
oh wait, no, it's still there. It's just a different color.
No,
okay. Sorry about that. No, it's yeah.
So 533 went up.
Yeah, 533 went up after we removed all sponsored pilots. FPV supply company went down, but not significantly. It was like it was like it's actually a lot, because it was 17 people and then it's 7. So like 10 people dropped. It's just way less people that not have any sponsored frames.
What was that number for 533 too?
So it was 40 people and now it's 24. So we got
but is this considering people that get it discounted or free?
Yeah, it's removed all of them. If you have discount, if you got free, you're removed. Because you have bias, maybe. I don't know. So So basically, we see a significant drop, but it's not significant change in the market share.
In the
Yeah.
Hyper makes a comment. I think it's a good comment. You know, it's true. So many small slices on frames. He
Yeah.
thinks that's sweet, and I would agree with him. Like,
Yeah.
just the fact that people are out there doing it. You know,
Yeah.
we've got you know, Russell AR from Speed Source making a splash in the 5-inch frame space. Obviously, the Open Racer. Custom frame, whatever, you know, whoever that is, like, yeah, and that's a pretty easy place. You know, it's a lot easier for someone to draw a frame on. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's easier to draw a frame in Fusion and send it to CNC Madness and get it cut than it is to design an ESC.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it is the probably the lowest barrier of entry spot for someone to get involved with trying to innovate in drone racing, and I think it's a good thing for sure.
So we got also one pilot who is sponsored by Open Racer frame, so he's getting, I guess, discount for Open Racer. Like, I don't know, like, I want to have it too.
That?
Like, yeah, let me know.
You probably wants that too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Now
That's
we're moving.
funny.
Now we're moving to props. I'm not gonna torture you with the results, but this is like all pilots versus non-sponsored pilots for props, and it's just like surprisingly the same. Like,
yeah, that's wild.
Yeah,
like, so it's like way less people, you know, because we got 64 people total running Gem Fund, but only 31 not sponsored by Gem Fund.
wow,
It's a lot of people that Gem Fund sponsoring, and I guess a lot of people. So we got 22 people total HQ and 11 people. So 11 people total sponsored by HQ, way less than Gem Fund, but
it works though, right?
Yeah,
I mean, like,
I was going to say that's a really healthy correlation, and for the sponsors out there that might be watching this, it does appear that like the fact that you're sponsoring pilots is also affecting your market share. So
yes,
that and sponsoring multi-GP marquee events is definitely a difference as well.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's neat. I think that's a really great correlation.
Yeah,
so for sure.
Yeah, so these are all our plots, and I just wanted to share little clips from today that we filmed, like a teaser for our next video.
Oh gosh,
it's just like I don't know why. It's just weird, two little things that I was just quickly cutting. So this is one of the clips.
There's no sound.
Yeah, there's no sound, but
oh no! Oh,
look at that.
That looked dangerous.
Yeah, well, we were getting a little wild today.
Yeah, we were, and
this is not responsible FPVing.
It's not.
You're trying to be the. Did you see the guy that crawled out on his car and flew his drone? Did you see that dumb video?
No, I haven't.
Oh wait. Sorry, you're laughing at this video. Okay,
it's fine. Yeah, I also I am enjoying watching it. So so this is coming.
Wait, this was supposed to be for OnlyFans.
Yeah, well, this is a piece of his OnlyFans. So yeah, and yeah, cool. Well, that's it. That's all I have. We filmed like a way more, but that's all what you got to see. So that's coming in the next few videos.
No, there was a guy that posted a clip of himself. He was driving in his car. He had his car. It started like the car was rolling. And so he like crawled out of the car. So there's no human in the car. And he crawled out on the hood of the car, put goggles on, and flew his drone around himself in his car, driving down the road without him driving it. And then land.
Wow.
Like, it was one of the dumbest things I've ever seen.
So officially by FAA, if you don't have 107, you cannot operate from the driving vehicle, right?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't a driving video; it was a rolling video vehicle.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just dumb, and not an official multi-GP comment. A common sense, don't be an idiot comment.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right, guys. So unless someone wants to add something, we want to thank everyone who joined, who dropped some couple of bucks in the super chat. And
absolutely.
Oh, and I forgot one comment. Like we missed one comment. So Quad Dog, who donated almost $100 super chat, he also highlighted that he used the same duck the whole time. That was that was his comment about his fleet. So
nice.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Cole says fucking freestylers, and that's gonna
Yeah,
be...
that's a total freestyler move.
Yeah. All right, guys.
We'll
Yeah,
put
thank
that
you very
in their
much,
Snapchat.
Mr. Neil. Now you gotta say something nice as goodbye. What you gonna do?
Okay. Well, it was great having y'all with us tonight. Sean, appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you very much for doing this survey.
Yeah, thank you for doing the survey. Thank you for putting data out there. Thank you for putting your work in at Multigp. Really appreciate that. Good job trying to convince us you're not the sock puppet.
Are you more or less convinced now? I'm curious.
Am I more or less convinced
that I am not the
Oh man, unchanged. Yeah, look at this wild shit we did today.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You're trying to have y'all in airplanes? Is that what this is?
Yeah, and like trying to get more y'all. You can see
I need more y'all.
So we tried to get more. And if you look in the wide shot, look in this wide shot here. Yvonne, put my wide shot in. I had a little something. Let's see. Look right there.
Oh,
came
look
in
at
today.
That. Cole, don't look at it. I know you're watching.
Yeah, don't look,
Cole. Don't look at
look.
that box. Yeah. So surprisingly, this thing worked. I mean, I didn't have yaw as much as on the drone, but it worked.
That's
yeah, but it's not pretty. It looks way cooler without that on there.
Yeah, this is like the whole
but
thing
it worked.
Do it yourself.
You should have seen the plane guys' faces when we were like...
That plane definitely looks do yourself. I mean, do it yourself.
Yeah.
We're like cutting up a piece of a cardboard box that we find in the supply closet to add more rudder. There's a couple of plane guys there watching us do that. That was funny. Oh, shit.
Oh, just Slim has left the chat, Joe Mama says. Yeah, well, wings are fun too. Like, drones are still more fun probably, but... Yeah, wing racing at IO. I'd love to see that, wing racing. I probably won't race it.
Back.
Yeah, but... Well, if it's open class wings, I'll bring it. Anyways, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Thank you very much, guys. Fun. Yeah, that's gonna do it. See you in the next video if we're not lazy.
Later.